Dilip Bilkon coming through. Pashupati Advani is with us of Global Foray. Pashupati, good to have you with us here. Good afternoon. Thanks very much as always.
Hi, Prashant.
Smile on your face as always, which means making money as always. Pashupati. But where is the question? And is it getting a little harder? Go on.
No, of course it's getting a little harder, and I think the market's like almost at that all-time high. So we might as well, as I say, ride this Ghoda and keep going. I think the challenge that we're facing is a little bit of slowdown from overseas, and money is getting tight over there. We are seeing a little bit of FI selling also, and what is concerning me is oil price going up and rupee getting weaker. I think those two things are tough. And I think we need to deal with that. Of course, we are benefiting from the fact that we're getting some cheap Russian oil. And I've just seen a whole bunch of Naira petrol pumps. I guess that's Russian oil refined in India and made in India and sold to us. So I think that's been good for us. But the rest of it is, the reality is that we are hurting with high oil prices. Prashant?
All right. Hi, Mr. Advani. Good afternoon. Nigel on this side.
Nigel.
Well, what's new then? The last time you joined, you were telling us something about Infratel. That's something that you were studying or you had got into. The prior time you were talking about Paytm, which you got in and got out as well. What's new? What have you bought? Tell us which is the couple of stocks.
Well, Paytm's headed back down. I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually looked at it today, but I think it's up a little bit, but it's basically heading back to the low 700s, in my opinion. But I think that, there are things that are here to stay. Infra is here to stay for sure. You mentioned today about J. Kumar Construction J. Kumar Infra getting a big order. There are big orders out there, and those companies are going to benefit. I think they're only constrained by the amount of work that they can actually get accomplished. I mean, they can today sit back and choose the kind of work they want to do. I happen to know this promoter. He's a great guy, and he's definitely, very diligent in his work, and he's all over Bombay. In fact, those of us in suburb Bombay hate him because we see his blue boards all over the place blocking the roads. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Dilip, I don't follow. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
no, sorry. I'm sorry. I had a sort of out-of-body moment. It seems like you're reading my mind when you said some of us hate those boards because they disrupt life so much. But yeah, it's the same thought that crosses my mind. That guy has the bulk of the contracts in suburban Mumbai. So that explains purely from a business and stock market rationale why you would like it. But go on. You were talking about Dilip as well. Which contracting
Dilip, I actually don't know.
Would you? Okay.
Dilip, I don't know. I mean, as I said, JK Infra is good. So I think that, we need to be in this. Since these companies are getting contracts from the government, we also need to be in cement and steel, which are the byproducts. And, I think we're still moving in that direction because the government is actually spending money and leading from the front. And I think that's very important.
So Pashupati, since you are convinced on some of these road contracting companies or infra in general, let's go beyond roads and EPC. Would you look at owning the big giant like an L&T, for instance, or how else? If you want more exposure towards infrastructure in the portfolio, how would you play it?
See, what happens in all the sectors is that top of the sector is trading rich compared to the rest of the market, whereas the so-called mid-caps or the middle-term companies are trading cheap. So I would rather take a bet on the middle-term companies and hope that there's a convergence to the mean. And, so I would rather be in a JK or a Dilip or some one of the others rather than being in L&T, but that's a personal preference. Obviously, FIs come in and they buy the top and they buy the L&Ts of this world and pull the whole market up, which is what we're grateful for them for.
Pashupati, last time you told us a couple of months back that how oil marketing companies were a good tactical play. Any other tactical plays that come to your mind right now, given the way the macros are turning? You spoke about crude prices rising. In fact, all the commodity prices have been inching up. So are there any tactical plays that come to your mind?
There is one sector that I've been flogging like a dead horse, which has been doing worse, which is the pharma sector. But I am seeing reports from all sorts of places where there are some. They are going to be doing better, but again, that we are the diabetes capital of the world, we're the blood pressure capital of the world. So those companies will continue to do well. It's just that the government is, fortunately for us consumers putting caps on the prices of what they can charge. But at the end of it all, they can just keep producing, and as long as they're producing, we have a consumer base that is just growing. And it's sad, but we are not as well a country as we would like to be.
Right. Pashupati, have you given us ideas yet?
Sorry?
Have you given us ideas yet? Stock ideas? I think Nigel was asking you.
Well, as I said, you can buy the cream of the pharma crop. I'm actually quite happy about being in telecoms, all of them. The last time I think I mentioned about the tower companies, because I think that they're also going to benefit as the ARPUs go up. So there are sectors that we can be, but and oil marketing companies, I guess. Oil companies themselves also should benefit because of the fact that prices are going up, and those that are taking it out of the ground are definitely going to do well. I personally, even though banks have jumped up, I am not so wild about banks. That's my personal opinion, and obviously the market is carrying me out as a result of it. But those are good enough ideas, I think, at least poking people in the right direction.
No, but what about Pharma, Mr. Advani? What do you like in Pharma? Give us a couple of stocks.
Yes, I mean, the big ones have become cheap. So, I mean, why not buy the cream of the DRLs and the Ciplas, and the top end of that are the ones to watch. And, I've been kicked because they've come down, but I think that, now's the time to nibble into them again.
So that's some pharma, some infra. I'm going back to what you said. You said Paytm's coming down, Pashupati. Tell us your thought process there. And beyond Paytm, are you willing to look at any of these other new kids? I mean, now not so new kids, these new age stocks where companies are talking about increased profitability. They seem to have kind of got their feet on the ground. Anything else you're looking at there?
Yeah, for sure. But I think that now they will not get any new private equity money or public money unless they're making actual cash profit. Paytm was over 800 last week and is now in the high sevens. I think these stocks are just floating, and if you want to participate in this new business, one should definitely buy some of them. But the thing is that I am seeing a little bit of people tightening their belts a little bit, at least in the middle class, and therefore you are seeing prices of these come down because people are not as exuberant about going to a Nykaa or going to ordering from a Zomato as they used to be. They're more cooking at home. So I think there will be some change in the behavioral patterns, which will affect these new age stocks. Surabhi?
Pashupati, thank you very much for joining in and sharing your thoughts on the markets, and individual stocks need to get into a break. But with the news that ITC and HUL are dragging now, ITC is at the day's low, HUL has a cut of close to about 0.5%. We just get those charts up for you on the screen. Get into a break, and on the other side, we'll get you a check on what dealing rooms are saying in our segment D Street Chatter, and we'll also get you a few BTST calls.